remember being a kid and there being like a section that like I couldn't go in, and me always being like, what's back there?
You know what else used to have that? You remember FYE?
Yeah.
They used to, but it was always like in the middle of the store.
Uh-huh.
But they just like cover it up with like a brown cover or something like that. And you, as a kid, you definitely walk down the aisle and try to.
Dude, same thing as the gas stations. I remember being a kid and they had like the magazine rack at the front of the gas stations, and they would always have the magazines that had like the paper bags over them. And I'll be like, what is that? And I learned when I got older. But
that's so funny. I love that we just use paper bags to hide everything that's not appropriate for children.
as a child, anything that was in a brown paper bag was off limits.
Small giants. What kind of small guys are like, he's got to get him. He's got to get him.
We got to pack it up.
He said, because if we don't get it, somebody else is going to get it.
And drink straight out the bottle.
Cheers.
Hey. Welcome to the Who Effing Knows podcast. It has been a while. How you doing, man?
Great.
Yeah?
Fantastic, I guess.
I love to hear it. Tell me more.
I don't know. I'm just noticing the hat. I like it.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah, great hat. Great hat. I wanted to wear this the other night. I had a great shirt I was going to wear it with, and it didn't fit with the Pels vibe. Probably should have worn it. Maybe would have won. Probably not. Yeah. Anybody who can't see this, freshly brewed. Got a little kickflip dude on top of it.
I'm dressed in the Pels vibe. All black for a funeral, baby.
There you go. I look like a watermelon, if you ask my daughter. So I'm like, damn, babe. Like you're 4 years old. You can't roast me already. Calm down. Also, speaking of my daughter, I'm just diving in off the deep end. I know we got a million topics. We got a bunch of topics for y'all tonight. Thanks for your submissions. We're going to get to those. Thank you so much. That's probably going to make up most of our content tonight, other than random thoughts, which it is the Who Effing Knows podcast. You know, we go left, we go right, we go up, we go down, we go front, back, side to side. I'm sure that's a song somewhere. My daughter the other day cracked me up. Nia Jax, first of all, anyone who's offended by body shaming,
blame Patty's daughter.
Look away for a minute. Close your ears for a minute. I apologize. I am not one to body shame. I used to weigh 350 pounds. Let's get that out of the way. Not that keeps me from body shaming anyone. It's still the same shit. Anyways, getting to the story. We're watching wrestling. My daughter sees Nia Jax, and she's like talking about who she's going for in the match. And she's like, I want to go for that one. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I think she's talking about Liv. Shout out Liv. Hey, Liv. Not me. Him.
Mommy.
My daughter sees Nia, and she's like, oh, she's the fat one. And I'm like, okay, how do I have this conversation with my 4-year-old daughter, right? So innocent. And I'm like, hey, honey, you know how we talk about words that are hurtful, that are not nice? Well, that's one of them. And she's like, why? And I'm like, well, sometimes when you say that word, it can hurt people's feelings. It's just not something that, comes across very nice. And she looks at me, innocent as can be. Keep in mind, she's 4. And she's like, but she is. And I'm like, oh, okay. Moving on. I'm like, shoot. How do I address this? So anybody's got tips, I'm sure somebody out there does, send them my way, because that was brutal and I failed at it.
I haven't had any of those situations yet.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I had another one a while back with a guy I was going through a drive-through with. It was a guy I worked with, and I had my son with me. I'm not proud of this at all, and it wasn't my son, and I'm thankful my son has never said anything like this, and this is definitely not fun to share. I don't know why I'm sharing it. But there was someone working the window, and they were slow. Like, they were just not doing their job very well. And the guy that I was driving said a slur. Not that slur, but, just making fun of them basically for their race. And it was probably one of the most uncomfortable situations I've been in, because I had to tell him, first of all, my son doesn't even know the heck you just said, and let's please not do that, because I'm trying not to even introduce that. Now, granted, there's a lot of different conversations you can have about, whether you see color or not, and obviously he's going to be introduced to it. You got to have that conversation. You got to confront it. But in the moment, sucked. Let's move past this. This is weird. Yeah. I don't like these conversations.
See.
What do we got?
We have a ton. We're going to start with some local stuff. How about that?
NOLA.
And we'll see where it goes.
Who says NOLA, by the way? You still say Nola? Do you say Nola? Have you ever said Nola? Not still, but have you ever said Nola?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like if somebody asks me where I'm going for the day, I don't say that. I say the city.
Feels dirty. Anyways,
Say
continue.
the city.
Carry on, my wayward son.
All right. So we talked about this being a Pelicans funeral yesterday, so we're starting on some low vibes here. So we got some questions about the Pels here from Armandez, somebody we've interacted with a few times on Twitter. He says, do you think the Pels need another coaching consultant like they had with D'Antoni for Willie Green? And if so, who should it be? And should it be full-time as opposed to part-time like before? I know how I feel about this if you don't quite have an answer yet.
I have an answer. It's going to be very short, to the point. No. Either he works out or he doesn't. If you continue to bring in coaching which first of all, this is a whole nother rabbit hole. There's nothing wrong with Willie Green. Willie Green coached his ass off. I think you can question some things about the actual playoff series, but Willie Green was a great coach this year. Get over it. 49 wins is 49 wins. I don't care who you talk to. Yeah, no. The answer is no.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of topics, so we're not going to deep dive into this. I will point everybody to our main YouTube where Chrissy and all of them are going to do a State of the Pels, and they'll probably cover this more in depth. My answer would be no. If you're going to make some kind of change, I think the change has to just be a new coach. I don't like this whole, and I'm not saying whether they should go new coach or not. I'm saying if you're going to make a change, I think that would be the change. And I've been on record saying this, and I agree with everything you just said about Willie Green. I think Willie Green is going to be our, now I'm blanking on his name, the one that used to coach Golden State before Steve Kerr.
Oh, Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, yeah. I think Willie Green is going to be our Mark Jackson, a good coach, somebody who gets us right up to where we want to be but can't ever get over the hump. And I think somebody else is eventually going to come in and get us where we need to go. Yes, I know he's improved every year. It's more of a, I don't really know how to say what I want to say. I feel like we've seen the same problems over and over. And also it's just like it's kind of an attitude thing with him for me. For me personally, I just need a coach with a little bit of edge. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm conflicted there because I don't want to fault him for being a good human being.
No, it's not, and it's not really a knock on him. Like
right.
that personality can work with certain teams. I just don't feel like we've had this conversation. It's so hard to say something's not working with this team when they've improved every year.
I think the obvious, I know everybody on Twitter is saying this, and this is the consensus, and I hate to be the one following the crowd. I mean, the roster sucks. Well, the roster doesn't suck. I take that back. The roster does not suck. The roster does not fit together very well. And when in the playoffs, when the conversation becomes playing JV versus playing Larry, like you're kind of cooked. Yeah. Both of them are bad choices. Not that they're bad players, but neither one of them are going to match up well in the way that you would want. They kind of kill spacing in a certain sense, depending on what you're going for. You're either getting heavy defense with brain farts on offense and no spacing, or you're getting heavy offense, which is going to be 2-point heavy, which isn't really great in modern NBA. You saw it in the playoffs, like love Jonas or not, like other teams are going to shoot you out the building, and eventually you're going to miss some of your twos, and you're going to be behind by 20. Like, it just wasn't great construction, if we're being honest, and there was no good way to go about it.
Yeah. Like I don't think he's a bad coach. Like I think that I might even been Jacob say it might have been you. You don't win 49 games being a bad coach.
You don't. You
don't consistently improve being a bad coach, especially when you consider what he's dealt with every single year as far as injuries and things like that. So I don't know that he needs to be replaced. Mm-hmm. I don't think he needs to be replaced right now. I'm viewing this down the road, and it's just like a gut feeling to me.
Yeah,
it's not saying he's a bad coach because Mark Jackson was a good coach.
It's debatable.
I mean, he
Mark Jackson did some wild things.
That's true. Be honest with you. That's true. But
Mark Jackson knew the talent he had, so kudos to him for seeing that, but he could not figure it out, and he did some really wild things. Yeah, well, okay.
You see what I'm saying here? There's some rotation things with Willie, but I mean, he's still a young coach, I guess. But like, like I said before, I think next year is the year that something needs to come together. If there's not drastic improvement next year, then I think everything is on the table. I mean, if they don't make drastic roster improvements, front office should be on the table. If they make the changes and the coaching doesn't get any better, that's on like everything should be on the table after next year.
If you get a first round exit again, get swept in the first round, or if you're in the play-in again, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think Griff was very candid in that, and I think he knows too that he's got to make changes.
Right. Yeah, and like miss me with the there'd be a 3 seed in the East. That's great. You play the cards you're dealt.
We're not in the East.
Right. So until the NBA decides we're going to take the top 16 teams or whatever it is, like you play the cards you're dealt, because there's probably going to be a situation down the road where the East is stacked and the West kind of sucks.
Right.
And that is what it is.
I'm not trying to be the prettiest person in a room full of ugly people. Let's be honest.
There you go. Sticking with the Pels.
So vain.
This is our last local thing. We do have another Tulane topic. We're going to
I don't like when you're trying to stay on topic because you shut down the fun part of me. I was trying to be fun just now, and you just shut me down.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry. We have a Tulane topic. We're going to do more Tulane stuff down the road once we get a chance to take everything in, and we'll save all these Tulane questions.
Yeah, definitely coming. There's enough going on with Tulane right now. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. Travis on Twitter says, I've seen enough BI and Zion to realize their games don't really blend together. Is it time to trade BI and go get a mobile big or an all-NBA guard, or go all in and get both?
I mean, obviously you'd love to go all in and get both, but how do you do it? I think it just depends. I think you need someone who can run the offense. That's the main problem. Obviously you're going to need a big, but there's a lot of issues there. You got to do one or the other or both. I don't know. I don't have a great answer. Yeah, clearly I'm sitting here like.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer either. Maybe I'll send this to Chrissy and see if she wants to bring it up on State of the Pels and just let them have the way with this. Because I mean, I've said before, my fandom is like very basic level when it comes to basketball. So I'm not somebody that can be that knows the kind of room they're going to have to add people, things like that. I think, just from a broad picture standpoint, I think they desperately need a real point guard.
They don't need a point guard. This has been a debate.
A facilitator.
They need someone who understands how to run the offense. It doesn't have to be a point guard per se. It has to be someone who can right the ship, who can make sure everybody's in the right spot. I guess technically that's a point guard if you're looking from a traditional like mindset sense. Yeah, you need something because it doesn't work. I mean, CJ looks awkward trying to really be the main guy handling the ball. Plays great off ball. Unless you're in the playoffs.
I guess just to give a broad answer to this and wrap it up, if you had to pick, if they could only add one, and it's a mobile big or a point guard facilitator, which are you choosing? What's more important to you?
So you're telling me I have to leave the roster as is, but only add a mobile big and like lose JV or something like that?
Sure.
That's terrible. I don't think you have a championship roster either way if you just go with one of them. I'll be honest with you. But I think I go more with the facilitator than I do the mobile big. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree. As far as championship roster goes, that's a whole nother conversation because I think they're, just by looking at the other teams in the West, you could be pretty far off from a championship roster no matter what moves you make. Like, you're going to have to drastically improve, and I don't know how you
Which
get
is
there.
tough. I think that the elephant in the room is that they're going to move BI. They're either going to move BI or they're going to pay BI and see how it plays out and then probably move them at the deadline if the team is still performing the way it's performing, lacking in clutch situations. Not that that's on BI, but it's like just it doesn't – you saw what you needed to data-wise, and I think that it doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't want to stick on this too long, but I have been wondering if BI having a down year maybe lets you get him at a little bit of a bargain.
100% no. That honestly, like, I don't mean to cut you short there. I just think that he's shown that someone is going to pay him. Someone's going to give him the max. And I think if you're Griff's not an idiot. He's not just going to let him walk.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't plan to keep him long term, he's still going to trade him and get something for him.
I think they do need to get some assets. I know we have all these Bucks picks, but to me, they don't have a ton of value.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're first round picks, so they have some value, but they don't have the value. They should have cashed those picks in a while ago, but
we'll see. The Bucks are kind of in this weird. I don't know. The Bucks aren't very good off right now either, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's transition into some fun stuff, and then we'll go back into some sports if we want. Let's do this. I don't know who sent this in. I apologize. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, man. Oh, shoot. There's so many. What do I go with? Can I be lame?
Yes.
I can be lame. I think genuinely finding a way to just make others happy.
I love that you did that to make others happy because my answer is going to be complete opposite and just be selfish.
Well, I think, and that's fine. You can totally do that. I want to hear yours too. Like I'm thinking in terms of like, I'm the happiest when the people around me are happy. And when the people around me aren't happy, I am so just miserable. I know I could say, fly or invisibility or whatever. And like, hey, if you're invisible, you could do millions of dollars from a bank. You could rob it. Or I don't know. A lot of nefarious things going on here. Okay. I'm going to choose the happiness one.
I'm going to twist mine into being good for others. I want to be able to read minds.
Okay.
I want to be able to know first off, if my wife is mad and won't tell me why, I want to be able to know why so that we can figure this out and I can make her happy. But like, I want it to be like selective. Like, I don't just want to have everybody's thoughts just coming to me.
Okay.
Because that's overwhelming. That can be a bit much. But I do want to be able to, even if I also would be okay with it being a little bit limited, where my powers are like, you get to do this 3 times a day. Use it wisely. 3 times a day.
That could be a lot.
I would also either that or I want to be able to talk to my pets.
That'd be cool.
I'm home a lot alone with my pets, and I think it'd be cool to just be like, "Hey, what's up, dude? How was your day?"
First question: why the hell did you name me Dog?
That's what you are. I don't know what to tell you. Like, people like to say it's a stupid name, but I'd argue there's no more fitting name than that.
It is a dog.
It is a dog.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog. I do call him dog all the time. Poor thing. I call him dog. Everybody else calls him Dog. The kids call him Bubba. It's a thing. This dog is so confused.
That's okay. He knows what to answer to. My dogs just answer to snaps now.
Yeah.
The name doesn't even matter. Hey, and they come, and it's fine. Or my daughter yells, and they're like, it's actually kind of funny. My dogs do not listen to my wife at all, but they listen to me. And they listen to the tyrannical 4-year-old that I have that shouts at them and tells them to get in the room. And I'm like, wow, okay. It's kind of crazy.
My youngest son, for everybody who doesn't know, is 1. I have taught him how to. So we keep the treats in the pantry, like the bottom of the pantry. Mm-hmm. And I've taught him how to go in the box, get a treat, and give it to the dogs. Like little milk bone things. And now I've created a monster because today I didn't realize it. I left the pantry open, and now anytime he sees the pantry open, it is a beeline to it, and it's all he wants to do. And I didn't realize it was open, and today I'm eating, and I realize it, and next thing I know, he done gave them each 3 of them. Just like he just reaches in, gives it to him, reaches in, gives it to him, and then he just goes sit by him, and he just watches them eat both of them. He just. Mm-hmm. But I've created a monster. Anytime it was before he would go in there and he's just like taking everything out. Now it is just so I have like the box of trash bags on top, and then there's something else stacked on top of that, and he's just moving things out the way just to get to the treats. So my son is gonna add 20 pounds to each of my dogs.
It's okay. They're living a happy life.
But he loves them. They love him. It's all good. There's worse things he could want to do.
Living like kings, man. Those dogs are living happy.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what brings me joy? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm picturing your son just being so happy, like so satisfied with his actions.
Dude, he's got the biggest smile on his face, and it's hard for me to be like I'm not getting mad at him for it, but I'm like, all right, we gotta stop.
Okay, let's calm
But it
down.
is funny that he's just like cracking up laughing, giving him these things because he thinks it's hilarious, like when they take it out of his hand.
Yeah. I had a thought the other day, something that brought me back to my childhood. It just makes me so happy, and I don't even know why. I can't even explain why. I was at the Circle K over here, and really, when I think of this, I'm thinking of like racetrack. But you remember, like, did your grandparents ever have like the big jugs, the big like refillable jugs? Like truckers would have them sometimes, and basically it was like a 64-ounce like super whatever.
Just like a little mini size like igloo jug.
Basically,
we used to fill it with water for baseball and things like that.
But the thing is, if you bought it from like racetrack, right, for however much money, it was like refillable. Like you could bring it in there and just fill it up for like 30 cents or something like that.
We never had that, but I know that 7-Eleven does the thing where like once a year you can bring in any container and you get like you can fill it up with as much like icy or slushy that you want, and it goes viral on Twitter every year because people bring in ice chests and things like that. It's like, it's definitely just a competition to see who can bring in the biggest thing because no one is drinking an ice chest full of slushy.
Hey, you got this sticky ice chest you got to clean out. Good for you. No, I'm asking because I pulled up and I saw this little old man walking out with this. I mean, this jug was like the size of a milk jug. It was bigger than a milk jug. And he's just like this tiny man, like 5'3". You know what I mean? Like, just sorry if anybody, Short Kings, love you. But walking around with this little jug. And I'm like, man, what are you going to do with that? You know how many times you're going to pee? You probably have bladder problems right now. You're like 70 years old. Like, calm down, man.
I love that. You mentioned being young, and Eric asked us a question, and it kind of goes well with it. He says, you have one more chance to go into Blockbuster.
Yeah.
You can pick one movie, one game, and one snack.
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
I don't know about the movie, but the game is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Okay.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Snack, we're doing snow caps. The movie, man, there were so many movies that I rented from. Yeah,
the movie is the toughest part.
That's hard
because I see how you're doing this. You're thinking nostalgic, like you're assuming you're going into a Blockbuster like 1997.
Yeah. I'm putting myself back into young me.
Like not today.
Yeah, I don't have the movie. I don't have it. I have to think on it. Maybe it'll come to me. But go for it. Face Off. I'm trying to think like the last time I was like consistently going into a Blockbuster, and it was like high school for me. So I'm trying to think what I was into in high school. Movie, I'm going Superbad. Okay.
I would also take Snowcast, but to switch it up, I will say green Sour Punch straws.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And a game. This is weird because I could still play it, but I'm going Halo.
Okay.
And I'm going to get some people over. We're going to watch Superbad. We're going to have a Halo tournament. And we're going to kick it with some Sour Punch straws.
I don't hate it, man. Listen, time of my life, right? I grew up in Jefferson, but I also would go to my mom's house in like the River Ridge area. And there was a Blockbuster, and right next to that Blockbuster there was a Pizza Hut. And it was like, childhood heaven. I would literally go to that Blockbuster, get whatever the heck I wanted, go to Pizza Hut, pick up a pizza, go home. We were set for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Whole weekend. I was good. Didn't leave the room. Pizza and video games.
And then when you finally got the card, like we had like the unlimited card. Mm-hmm. When I finally convinced my mom, or when I think it was in high school, when I had like my first job, like one of the first things I did was go like start paying for the Blockbuster unlimited card because I was just getting games all the time.
Yeah, man. Netflix put it into it. Netflix and Redbox just killed it. Wasn't Netflix the one that did the games, or was it? What was the game?
Redbox had both for a while. They don't do the games anymore. GameFly came around for a little while.
Was it GameFly? There was one that was like an online thing. I think Netflix had it too, where they would send you games.
It's so funny because like I'm thinking like somebody like my sister's age that's like 18 probably doesn't even know that Netflix used to mail movies, and that's how it started. Yeah, Netflix is probably the one that killed Blockbuster.
Damn you, Netflix!
Man, they still have the one Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's in like Alaska, right? Or like
I don't know. Somewhere, I think it's Oregon. I think it's somewhere up northwest. I would love it. I'd love to just. I think you like rent it out for a night or something like that.
Like the whole Blockbuster?
Yeah, I think that they've turned it into like an attraction.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. Like I think you can just rent it out for a night, and I would absolutely do that.
Yeah. Did you ever go to any other like video stores as a kid other than Blockbuster? We had some other like mom and pop ones that were
No,
close
he
to mine.
mentioned another one, and I had never heard of it.
There was like Video Joe. There was Mr. Video. I remember all these like little ones, but there was one across the street from my mom's apartment, and my mom had like a tab where I could just go in and like just grab a game, and they would just put it on her tab, and I would keep it for like a month sometimes.
No, my mom out in Alabama. I don't remember the name of the place, but it was like a place that sold like. I'm assuming it's like used movies because I still have a few of them because they all came in clear cases.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the actual disc, so it's like the actual. It's funny because this is how I own 8 Crazy Nights. That's why I have it. That's a callback. So it's
That
like
has
the
come up way too many times in my life recently. I'm gonna be honest. Great movie though.
It's like the actual disc, but it's in a clear thing. So I think it was just like used movies, almost like a GameStop where people would come in and trade in movies, and they were all like $5. Like every single one of them. You could just go in there, load up on $5 movies, and buy them. And I remember the last batch that I went and got was Joanna Man, Like Mike, and 8 Crazy Nights.
There you
I
go.
still have them.
All
somewhere.
basketball movies. Shout out.
Yeah, all basketball movies. That's right. It shows you where I was at in my life, I guess.
He was a hooper.
But no, I don't remember any like local ones. I guess that was definitely a local. It wasn't a chain thing, but it was like local to Alabama.
I remember being a kid and there being like a section that like I couldn't go in, and me always being like, "What's back there?"
You know what else used to have that? You remember FYE?
Yeah.
They used to, but it was always like in the middle of the store.
Uh-huh.
But they just like cover it up with like a brown cover or something like that. And you, as a kid, you definitely walk down the aisle and try to.
Dude, same thing as the gas stations. I remember being a kid and they had like the magazine rack at the front of the gas stations, and they would always have the magazines that had like the paper bags over them, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And I learned when I got older. But
That's so funny. I love that we just use paper bags to hide everything that's not appropriate for children.
as a child, anything that was in a brown paper bag was off limits.
Anything and everything in a brown paper bag.
Unless it was lunch, and then
That's
hold
so funny. We have a couple more fan things, but I have a random thought that I had, and then we can go back into those. I've discovered what I am the Michael Jordan of.
Okay.
I am the Michael Jordan of getting things done after midnight. Clock strikes midnight, my time to shine. I, over the last 2 weeks, have completely rearranged my garage twice, rearranged all of the cabinets in my kitchen, and just almost cleaned my entire house, all after midnight. And I don't know why. I'm just like, I'm busy during the day, whatever. But from like 9 to like 11, I'm just sitting around kind of doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then like midnight hits, and I'm like, you know what I want to do? Rearrange my entire garage. And I've done it. I've threw things out. I'm like, my garage is open. I'm throwing shit in the trash can outside.
Like 2 a.m.
No, it all gets done within like an hour because I'm just like, I think it's just because like everybody besides like you is asleep. So there's nobody like interrupting me.
Yeah.
The kids are asleep. Cordy's asleep. I'm just like locked in. I got like a podcast on in the back, and I'm just locked in on rearranging I even played like a game of darts by myself in the middle of it. I finally like moved all the stuff and was able to access my dartboard. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do?
I love
darts. That. But yeah, I am the Michael Jordan of getting things done after midnight.
I love that. I don't have anything come to mind. I don't know. I am the Kobe Bryant of a lot of things, but not the Michael Jordan of a lot of things. And what I mean by that is like, I'm kind of a dick if things don't go my way.
You're not like that though. Like if you have things you work from home and you get things done during the day.
Yeah.
But so you're like on your computer a lot. I guess if you need to get something done, you're just like, oh, I'm already on my computer. I can knock this out.
Yeah. I tell you this, I am probably one of the most efficient people you will meet. Like, I don't know if that makes me the Michael Jordan of efficiency or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of lame to say that. But I am one of the most efficient. Like every job I've ever had, I will get things done in an hour and a half or 2 hours that take people a day and a half. Now, I don't tell my job that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to, hey, you could do more. Yeah, I could. Maybe I will one day.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like how I operate, like in a job like yours. Because I am I've always been this way through school and everything. I'm terrible with procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to like the last couple days of something needs to get done,
yeah,
like when I lock in, it's like the best work I'll ever do. Like when I just, because I guess it's because I'm kind of like you, I guess, where I know I can be. If you give me an hour and a half, I can knock out
Right.
a ridiculous amount of things.
Yeah, I'll get all this done.
Right. Like I've told you before, like when I could edit this, make 20 clips from it all in an hour if I just lock in and do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I procrastinate so much. So I wonder if I'm
think
assuming you have like deadlines and things you have to.
I think you'd be fine. I do, but I don't. It's one of those things where I've flipped the way I think about it because I used to be the same way. And I think we're a lot alike when it comes to all that stuff, which is why we've always worked well together with this stuff. I have flipped it on its head to where now I work in sprints. So, and not like in the, like people in business would be like, oh, he works in sprints. Obviously he does this for this month. No, what I mean is I'm going to work super hard for like an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. It's not even intentional. It's just like, all right, I made my cup of coffee. I'm sitting in front of my computer. I have work to do. I'm not doing anything. Mm-hmm. Let me just look at this real quick. And normally that just goes down a rabbit hole of like, okay, I just did all this stuff and I didn't stop working for like an hour and a half. And then normally at the end of that, I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I've done everything I need to do. What do I do now? And I can get proactive and I can do a few proactive things, but normally I'll do like one or two proactive things and be like, that's good. I'm good.
So are you, I guess you kind of answered it, but are you somebody that operates better when you have, how should I ask this? It's like if you have a few things that need to get done within a month, would you operate better if it's like everything is done at the end of the month, or you have this done at the end of the week, this due at the end of this week, this due at the end of this week, like certain deadlines throughout the month, or just everything being done at one time?
I give myself deadlines now. So because if you do it, you can think that you'll do it well the other way, but you won't. You could do a lot of it, but you'll always kind of cut yourself short because you're going to run out of time. If you give yourself deadlines for other things throughout the month and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this by this point, or somebody else says, hey, you need to do this by this point, like that helps. I'm very much a get it done. Like I'll just make it happen type of person. So like today I was asked to do something that came out of left field and it's got to be done by like next Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I was like, not happy about it. And I was like, what do you want? You want this? Like this? Cool. All right. And it's just like, I don't say no. I'm just like, all right, we're going to make it happen. And I do. And that's kind of the end of it.
It's something I've kind of talked to my, like, because I'm like the first of my cousins. Well, you know, I have older cousins, but like there's like a little bit of a gap in like my cousins' ages. And I'm like the start of like the next like group. Mm-hmm. So like all my younger cousins, my little sister, all ask me questions about like college and like scheduling classes and things like that. And like online versus in person. Yeah. And I always told them, I was like, I was somebody that was able to do online, like preferred online classes, because number one, most of them are like, this is what's due at the end of this month or whatever. And I was somebody that was able to be like you're saying, set deadlines, knock things out. But also you have to be able to like teach yourself things when you're putting yourself on deadlines. So it's funny. I like that. It's funny how similar we are when it comes to this.
Just figure stuff out. Yeah. Just make it work. Make it happen, Captain.
But yeah, I procrastinate a lot, so I don't know. But also like, I'm using this stuff as like a reference right now because it's the only thing in my life that like has deadlines really, or not even deadlines, because it's not like a job would force me to be like, oh, this needs to be done. This I definitely go through phases where I'm like, you'd
be surprised, dude. People get paid lots of money sometimes, and they're like, yeah, I just don't feel like it, and they just don't do it, and it's like, how do you work like that?
How do you have a job?
You're gonna get fired.
Oh, that's so funny. Do you have? I mean, do you have anything? Any fun topics before we dive back into a little bit of sports stuff here?
I'm not a fun guy, man. I mean, I could update you on my life. That's not fun though.
I like hearing about your life, but I mean, if you want to share that afterwards, that's fine.
No, it's been a probably could have led with it at the beginning of the podcast.
I think you tried, and then you just couldn't.
I did. I went off the rails. That's what I do. It's been a weird week. I have been on antibiotics for like a week. I haven't been able to work out. It's just been this funky. It's the reason we didn't record last week. I had a small procedure. I had gone to the dermatologist, and it was like, oh, I had nothing crazy. If you're queasy or things are weird, okay, we're gonna keep going now. I had a cyst. and they just had to remove it. But it was like, it happened so fast. It was like one day they were like, hey, this is inflamed, this is infected, we got to get this out. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, it can cause this problem, that problem. It's not like a major thing, but just like took up 2 full days, and then I can't work out now. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to a draft party, can I drink? They're like, yeah, you can drink as much as you want. I'm like, cool. So I can't work out, but I can drink and I can eat whatever I want, and I can just basically be a massive POS for the next week. Sweet. So that's where I'm at.
I'm not laughing at your I just thought of like a memory from high school. So it was my junior year, I think, of high school. Junior or senior year, I don't remember. It had to be my senior year because it's the only way I thought of getting away with this. So my finals week, I had got a staph infection like right here. So they put me in, and I still have a scar from it actually. So they put me in a hospital for like a week because it was so close to my brain. They were concerned.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
So I missed all my finals, but then I got to go to school just like whenever, the week after or whatever, and just take them by myself, like in a little room or whatever. And for one of my finals, they gave me the teacher, obviously, whatever she was, gave me the answer sheet with the
answers on
the final. And I had I was a good kid in high school. Like I didn't like to get in trouble or whatever. But I was like, so I was like, how can I do this? So I basically like put the smallest of dots, like on it was a Scantron. So I put like the smallest of dots on there. Intentionally, I did like the math of how many can I get wrong to get a B. So because like I was doing well in the class, I didn't need much to pass. So I was like, I got like 10 wrong on purpose. And I went up to her within like 2 or 3 minutes, and I was like, you gave me this answer sheet. She's like, did you look at it? I was like, I did not. So that's why I'm bringing it to you right now. I showed her Scantron, and the dots were so small you couldn't even tell, but like I could see them. It was great. I just felt that I feel like this has been weighing on my conscience since my senior year of high school, and I'm finally letting it out.
You just took this moment to admit something about high school.
It's fine. I mean, what they gonna do now?
Good for you, man. Good for you.
I mean, a few weeks ago, I admitted to stealing balloons from Winn-Dixie as a child for like 5 years.
It's true.
So.
You did. Have I ever admitted that I used to change my attendance in high school? Ever say that?
Change your attendance?
I used to change my attendance. I used to skip class. And I used to skip class, and I would sneak into, I was in a tech crew. I would sneak into this little portable we had where just the tech crew members would go. And I knew one of the people in the office who ran attendance, and I had their login. So I would just log into the computer, and I would be like, oh, I'm here today.
Okay.
I would be there for like an hour and a half and be like, all right, cool, I'm done for the day. And I would leave. So I cheated the system my entire senior year.
Good for you.
Yeah, not really. I ended up getting caught like at the end of the year. I had an English teacher, bless her heart, she was a great lady, who caught me, and she was like, hey, you've been absent from my class 35 days, but the attendance doesn't show that. What's going on? And I was like, I don't know. Weird. Yeah, so I got caught. Good times.
That's funny. I never got caught doing mine. This is probably a terrible thing to be, but I am a fantastic liar. Like,
it's not good. I mean, I guess it's good. I don't know.
I blame my grandpa. He taught me how to play poker when I was like 10 years old. And I think that's like the earliest form of lying that I can really remember.
Yeah.
Because like growing up, my grandma was always like, because I lived with my grandma. She was in a better school district, things like that. And she'd always like gave me the freedom to basically do whatever I want. Because like pre-Katrina, when I was in Chalmette, like, and I'm sure you did this when you were a kid, you could just like ride your bike wherever you wanted, all your friends' houses, whatever. And she's like, I don't care where you go, just let me know where you go, and basically do whatever I want as long as I didn't lie. So I never felt like I had to lie.
Yeah.
But the only time I had to, when I was playing poker with my grandpa, and I think I just grew up so interested in poker and lying and things like that. I think I just got really good at it.
That's
and
funny.
Now, in my entire life, I've been a great liar.
Yeah. I've always prided myself on being able to read people. So, also because of poker, I think.
It's weird. I really like it. Sounds ridiculous, but I really think there's something to it.
Since a young age, I started playing poker when I was like 15 or 16 with my buddies. And I don't know. Like I've always been one that like trust if somebody says something and it comes off as weird to me, I pick at it. I'm attacking every angle of it, and I'm wanting to know how they think and why they said it. And then if it doesn't add up, I'm like, nope, they're lying. They're just full of crap. And I tell you what, it sucks for my kids because you cannot lie to me.
Yeah, So like I'm a good liar. I'm not sure how good I am at like picking people apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more so like, I don't know. Like if I'm just meeting a random person out in public, I tend to think most people are good. So I don't know. I don't think I approach it as, or it's almost like I give you a base level of trust until you give me.
Yeah.
I think, there's definitely outlier situations where like this sketchy dude, I'm not, I don't trust this guy, but I think that's just where I'm at. I'm like, every single person I meet, you start with this base level of trust, and I'm going to trust you until you do something to prove me.
Yeah. So to be fair, I do the same exact thing. I do. I trust everybody. From the second I meet you, I assume the best, but it doesn't take a lot to lose that.
Yeah.
There are small things that I will see and I'll be like, that's a red flag. I am a red flag connoisseur. I don't know how else to put that.
Michael Jordan picking out red flags.
I am the Michael Jordan picking out red flags. There you go. We've gotten to it. That's a callback, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's it.
That's so funny. Going back into sports, if you could build a franchise around a fictional quarterback, who would it be? This is also from Eric.
Oh, there's a few that come to mind. The first one I'm thinking of, this is kind of silly too because it's a Disney movie. Who did The Rock play in that movie? Joe Kingman? Or is that a different one?
I don't remember his name.
Hold on. Pull this up. Yeah. In the game plan, Dwayne The Rock Johnson plays Joseph Kingman. He's 6'5". Like, he's basically Cam Newton. Give me that guy. Prime Cam Newton.
I'm going completely off the wall here.
Yeah.
I'm going Pablo Sanchez from the Backyard Sports thing. We're going to lock him in at a really young age on like a 15-year contract.
You just think he's going to progress.
I just imagine.
Yeah.
Listen, that game was however long ago. Until this day, he's still the greatest quarterback character in video games. So I'm assuming we get him locked in. Like we do the baseball thing. The really dirty thing that baseball does is where we lock these young guys in at like 15-year contracts. We'll give them a nice sum. 15 years, $500 million, whatever it is. Where in year 10 hits a value. And I got Pablo Sanchez, the greatest video game quarterback, locked up. It might be a struggle for the first few years considering he's a child.
Yeah.
But as he matures.
Yeah. He'll get there. He might get killed, though. It's going to take some time. He's going to take some. You're going to just leave him on the bench for a while?
Listen, that's the thing. There's no rush. We got plenty of years. Listen, 15 years. And then he might even have time to get to a second contract.
Trust the process. Trust the process. The only other one that came to mind was Willie Beeman. And it's only because of the song.
I was going to say, that's mostly my answer because I couldn't think of any movie quarterbacks off the top of my head.
There's the two whose names I remember is Willie Beeman from of course Sunday movie. Shoot, I can't even think of the movie's names right now.
Movie too, but I know.
Any Given Sunday, phenomenal movie. Actually, my dad brought me to see that movie when I was like 10. I don't remember when it came out. I was young though, and I remember being super weirded out because it was rated R. And if you've seen the movie, there are some locker room scenes, and me as a 10-year-old boy, I'm like, whoa, okay, kind of weird. But yeah, Willie Beeman, I remember just his swag and like I don't know, that was fun. I don't know if he's a good quarterback, but he reminded me of Aaron Brooks when I was little. And Jim King.
Reminded you of Aaron Brooks?
Yeah, because Aaron Brooks played for the Saints at the time, and like I don't know, he also came in because Jeff Blake got hurt. It connected for me. Okay.
Shout out Aaron Brooks.
Yeah, second best Saints quarterback of all time.
Truly underrated.
Even if he's not underrated, still second best Saints quarterback of all time.
It's very
Even
true.
if he's overrated.
You're right.
Not a lot to compete with.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say that. You want to react to some people's hot takes?
I do. That was fun. I saw a lot of those come in.
We got a few. These are all sports hot takes. All right. I should have wrote who these were from. I don't remember. But anyway.
Slacker. That's okay. I could have also.
Well, the worst part is that I wrote some of them and not all of them. I don't understand why.
That's what's confusing, man. Like, wait a minute.
Anyway, well, some of them I just knew who it was,
Yeah.
so I didn't have to write down.
Gotcha.
Anyway, J.J. McCarthy will have decent stats in his offense this year. Essentially, J.J. McCarthy will be better than people think.
Yeah.
React.
Sure.
I've found myself recently, it's always the same people on Twitter that are like, this person's trash. Why are they drafting this person? This person sucks. And I've found myself being like, I think I want this person to be good, even if it's at the detriment of my own team, just so that I don't like when people get on Twitter and just think they're right. Like,
how dare you think you're right?
But it's not even, I have no problem with it when you come with a real argument.
You know what's funny? Can I cut you off for a second? I'm not saying, but I'm saying there is a guy who goes by It's Dave Rainey or The Dave Rainey or something like that. He has a lot of takes like this.
I do have a lot of takes.
To be fair, this guy's trash. I've seen you comment underneath people multiple times in the past where you're just like calling them out about how bad something. I don't know. Anyways, continue.
I have a character to play.
That's fine. I shake my head. I'm like, what? And then I just move on. I'm like, I just kind of laugh it off.
We've all developed Twitter personas, and that's mine.
That's great.
Listen, 90% of the things I say on Twitter are not for real. Like, nothing I say on there is for real.
That's fair.
At least sports related. But anyway, and also it's kind of ties into this. A lot of times it's somebody that is so persistent that they are right about this take with nothing other than, I think this person is bad.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going the opposite route here.
Yeah.
And I have found myself, JJ McCarthy is one of them, where everybody's like, this dude's gonna suck, and I'm like, I'm pulling for him. I hate the Vikings. Trust and believe, I hate the Vikings, but I want JJ McCarthy to be good, just so I could get on Twitter and be like, I have the receipts. This person, this person, this person.
He definitely hits the Vikings. I had a flashback to when we were in Disney, drinking around the world in Epcot, and we all thought, now Dave swears he wasn't angry with this guy, but
It's
some
on-
guy
it's
said
on
something.
video.
Yeah, it's on video. Some guy said something, and he's like, "You a Vikings fan?" And we're all like, "Oh God, what is about to happen?" We're in Disney, buddy. Calm down. He swears he wasn't angry at this guy, but I'm telling you, his brain went to Vikings, and it immediately felt like he was seeing red, and I was like.
I think I say it on the video too, that I have one thing muted on Twitter, and it's Minnesota Miracle, and that's it. Literally nothing else.
It was one of those moments, I'm sure you've been in this moment before too, and we're going to get back to these subjects, these hot takes, where you have a friend, or maybe even I've probably done this before, where I'm out, and for whatever reason, they decide tonight's the night.
It's go time.
and you look at that friend and you're like, whoa. I didn't sign up for this, buddy. But you can't leave them.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, guess what? You're on your own now. You want to make a fool of yourself? You want to fight somebody? You can't leave them. You got to be there for them. So when you said that, I was like, I had a choice to make in my mind. I was like, I am in Epcot. Am I going to be banned from Disney forever? Is this the path we're going down right now? Luckily, that wasn't. But
I'm like generally like cool headed when I'm out, right? Like if you see me out and I get pissed off about something, like it's usually pretty justified, because I like,
that's fair.
When I'm drinking, I'm like, I'm chilling. Like I don't like, I'm very antisocial. Like I don't like being in crowds, so I kind of just keep to myself when I'm out. So if I get worked up about something happened to get me to that point.
Yeah.
But
same. I'm normally the one that's like, come on.
Yeah, but there's probably been 2 times maybe where I've been the one to initiate that situation, and my friends have had to I've actually made one of my friends is like my really good friend, because we went out, it was at Barcadia one night, we were out for my birthday, I think, and I was talking to this girl that I went to high school with, hadn't seen her in years, and we're literally just talking about, oh, how you been, life, and this dude, like, we're talking like this, and this guy back to me just slides right in between us. The guy that she was there with just slides right in between us to cut off our conversation, and I didn't appreciate that. So that was one of those moments where
It's kind of rude. It's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, right. And it was one of those moments where, I didn't push him. I didn't do nothing physical. I was just like, hey, bro, like, what's up? And then this guy that I was there with, first time we had ever hung out, like we were in class together, and like we were friends through classes. But he came out and met me for my birthday, and it was our first time we ever went out, him and 2 of his friends. And immediately, they jumped in front of this guy and like got in his face. I was like, oh, we're friends for life. Like, you don't even know me that well, but you just I don't know if you were just itching for a fight that night, but
Maybe. Who knows?
But
you had my back.
But me and this guy are great friends now, and because of that, he might not even know it. But that moment was the one that made me be like, "Oh, this guy is a ride or die kind of guy." And also, shout out to Aaron, because for like 5 years he went through this phase where he just wanted to fight somebody. Like, that's really what made me bring this up. He went through this phase like. Always happy, the happiest guy on earth. But
Very happy guy, actually.
We'd just be out. He'd be like, "I've been itching to get in a fight," and I'm like, "Why?" but Aaron is like my guy, right? And he is the one. Him and Chad, or if they ever got in one of those situations, it's like the only two people. Well, and now you actually would be in that category for me.
Yeah, and I respect that. I feel this like so. It's interesting how that works, and it kind of alludes to what I said and what your whole story just was. I have a lot of close friends, and we've always been that way. Mm-hmm. It's like we're never looking for fights, right. Ever. It's not a thing. I'm actually trying to avoid fights. First of all, I'm 36.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to do any of that. And I'm a very hippie type of guy. You guys have seen that. I have one friend though, who throughout our lives has always been the one to try and start fights for no reason. Like we're walking down Bourbon Street, or not Bourbon, we're walking down the French Quarter one night, and for whatever reason, some guy's talking about being from Mississippi. Not in a rude way, not even by us. I'm talking like 10 paces away. And my buddy turns around and he's like F Mississippi. And we're like, bro, what is going on? So it's gotten to a point now through the years. He even came, bless his heart. He might hear this podcast. He even came on my bachelor party. And some things happened. And he lost his cool for whatever reason. And for the first time in my life, we're in Mexico. That's the first thing that needs to be said here, okay? We are in Mexico. Me and my other buddies who are there with him look at him and we're like, no, dude. No, you're on your own. I'm just letting you know. This is not the time. This is not the place.
It's so funny.
I just and finally got to a point, I don't know if because we're older, but it's just like, listen, if you want to do that, we'll be right here.
That's so funny.
Hopefully you can make it back to us.
I feel like I need to clarify about Aaron. He never was like that, where he would just try to start a fight. We'd just be walking down the street. Nobody around. He's like, I've really been itching to get in a fight.
So I have another buddy like that.
But he never would try to start it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
But if, almost like what we're talking about, where like somebody does something to me and he's like, bam, I'm ready.
Yeah. I have another buddy like that. I get that. His name coincidentally is also Aaron.
So JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, he might be fine. I was high on him coming into the draft. I thought he's talented. I don't have high expectations though, so maybe that's the issue. Some people have really high expectations.
Well, when
he
you're
was drafted
first round,
high,
yeah, when you're first round pick like that, early first round pick.
Well, Michael Penix was an early first round pick, so
yeah, but you won't find that out for 3 years.
Shout out to Atlanta.
Way
to go, guys.
Yeah, a lot of people with J.J. McCarthy, they're like, oh, he never threw the ball. They never really had to.
Yeah.
So you can't.
But when he did, though, it looked good. I mean, he could throw off platform. He's a little small, which is always the concern.
Listen, man, this is a whole nother conversation we don't have to dive into. What is successful is like what is considered successful. Like if he ends up being like what Jimmy Garoppolo was to the 49ers and getting them to a Super Bowl, even though he wasn't all that good. Like, is that good? Is that successful?
In my opinion, success is don't lose your team games.
Yeah. That's fine. Like
so many quarterbacks lose their team games.
Like he could, if he came out and became Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Like,
congrats. You got a way cheaper version of Kirk Cousins.
Right. Atlanta has both. How about that? Next one. Another rookie quarterback.
They got a left-handed quarterback whose name is Michael. Just going to throw that out there.
I've seen a lot of Michael Vick slander on the timeline lately because they're like, Michael Penix is what Michael Vick would be if he could throw. We are not about to disrespect Michael Vick. I listen, I hate the Falcons more than probably any other sports thing.
Who said Michael Vick can't throw?
That's part of the thing here. Somebody, and the quote tweet was, if you never saw Michael Vick play, just say that.
Right. Because like I get he was athletic and he could run, but
listen,
if you didn't see him throw the ball.
Pre-prison Michael Vick wasn't the best passer.
He didn't have weapons either.
True. But we can all, for some reason, when he came back and went to Philly, his arm became a different thing. He was that pass to Deshaun Jackson to start that one game lives rent free in my head.
I'm just gonna stare at you like this until you remember who his coach was in Philly.
Yeah, no, I get it.
There's a reason why he looked better in Philly.
Listen, there was a lot of hatred towards me and my family when I was a child because Michael Vick was my favorite player on earth.
It was great.
I never liked the Falcons, but I loved I had the Michael Vick shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the only jersey I owned, and it like pained my grandma to buy me this Falcons jersey because she's the biggest Saints fan I know.
Yeah.
But I loved Michael Vick growing up. He was my favorite player, and then. After my uncle hated these shoes, hated that I owned all this Michael Vick stuff. After Katrina, the one thing he wanted to find in the house was these Michael Vick shoes I had so that he could burn them, and he did it. So he literally went in the house after Katrina. He found the shoes, kept them full of Katrina stuff,
Oil.
yeah, and then
I know where you lived.
and then burned them.
It wasn't hard to burn covered in oil.
But yeah, another rookie quarterback hot take. This is from Zach. Shout out to Zach. He's the one that won the Freebird rule giveaway we did.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Zach.
Aaron's brother, actually.
Oh, okay. So we know Zach.
Yeah,
I didn't know we knew Zach. All right, cool.
I know Zach.
Okay. Good for Zach. Hey, Zach.
Caleb Williams is overrated, and the Bears will be in the same boat that they've been in. And as a secondary thing that kind of ties in, Justin Fields will take over for Russ and will be an All-Pro either this year or next year for the Steelers. So who is in a better situation now, the Bears or the Steelers?
I don't think those things should be connected, but I think the Steelers are 100% in a better situation. Like, no question. I think they have a better coach. They have a better, I don't know if it's a better team. The Bears might have a better team, talent-wise. Look, Caleb's going to come in as a rookie. It's going to be tough. There's a learning curve. I think Caleb Williams 100% is worth the first overall pick. I don't think he's overrated in any way. And I think that the people that are calling him out for the reasons they're calling him out, I don't know if Zach is the one. I know you know him, but they could probably kick rocks. I don't think that people need to tear down Caleb Williams for the reasons they're tearing him down, and I think it's ridiculous.
Oh.
He's got talent.
No, I don't think that's why. I know. I didn't know what you were talking about, but now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think that's why he's saying
I
that.
don't think he is. I'm just saying.
I think the Caleb Williams situation is Reggie Bush all over again. The hype is so so when Reggie Bush came into the league, there was almost no possible way he could live up to that. Like, to this day, I mean, maybe until now, he was the most hyped most hyped college prospect I can remember.
Yeah.
NFL wise. I don't even Andrew Luck, RG3, like they came in with some hype, but it wasn't like Reggie Bush was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Like, think about how good you had. This is another rabbit hole. Think about how good you had to be in consideration for the number one pick as a running back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out to Reggie finally getting his Heisman back.
Good for him.
I think he should just spike it outside his house now. Be like, I don't even want it anymore.
Light it on fire.
But anyway, I think that this Caleb Williams situation is like Reggie Bush all over again, where the hype is so high. I don't know that he can ever meet it because he's being touted as like the greatest quarterback prospect since I don't even know when, because like you can compare him to Patrick Mahomes now, but Mahomes didn't have this kind of hype coming out of college. Like, Mahomes was looked at as a project. This dude is looked at as like he's the savior for Chicago, and it's just like,
well, to be fair, drafted first overall as a quarterback, you're always going to be the savior to whatever team you're drafted to.
yes,
but
there's levels to it.
There's levels to it. I agree, and I get what you're saying with the Reggie thing, and he is pretty hyped. But and maybe this goes with the JJ McCarthy thing. Maybe it's just because I'm not watching TV. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't find these guys to be as hyped as maybe everyone else is saying. I think that Caleb Williams absolutely should have been the number one pick, and I think that Chicago did right for drafting him. I think it's on Chicago now to figure it out. They've shown that they suck at coaching and developing quarterbacks and just about everything it takes to win games. So we'll see. But, are they in the same position that they were in? Maybe. I don't think Fields was a bad quarterback. So to answer Zach specifically, I think maybe the underlying tone there is like Caleb Williams isn't better than what they had. I think it's hard to tell, but I don't think that it's like night and day better.
I think if he had came out of college last year, this would be a different conversation. This last year for him was definitely maybe not even like his team overall just fell off this year.
Yeah.
And I think that, and also like when you get to that level of hype, like when you get to the level of Caleb Williams, all people want to do at that point is find ways to bring you down.
Yeah.
So like we've seen you do everything and be as great as anybody's ever been. So now all we have is to try to bring you down. And I think that's what this whole last year, everything he did for all the things you're saying but not saying, like that's all people are trying to do now. Like any little thing he does, are like, oh, he can't be a good quarterback because he's crying to his mom
because he cried after he lost.
Yeah, where in other times it might have been like,
what about guys that cry during the national anthem? Like,
yeah,
people cry. Get over it.
Like, also maybe he just wanted to win so bad. Yeah. Like, there's so
many. Maybe he's just that bad. So in my eyes, in that situation, I'm like, maybe he's just that much of a competitor that he wanted to win. Like, you can't fault somebody for wanting to win a dang game.
Yeah, I just think
painting his fingernails, that type of stuff. Like,
yeah, it's so stupid.
Can he read the blitz?
Right.
Can he hit the hot route? Like, can he slide the protection? Like, I don't care about his fingernails.
But like before this season, like even if his last thing he did was lose to in the Cotton Bowl,
yeah,
like that game was still unbelievable.
He was phenomenal.
Right. So if he came out on that, like there's none of this.
Right.
Right. It's just like people spent the whole year just knocking him, and that's where we're at now. I think I don't know. And like I said, this is a hot take segment,
yeah, it's fine.
Right? So it's like I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's overrated. I just don't know that he can ever live up to the hype. How many athletes in just across sports are like have lived up to the hype? In my lifetime, it's LeBron.
James. Yeah,
and that's it. Like, like Zion has not, and that was that's another athlete that came in with a ridiculous amount of hype.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of others. I got nothing.
Andrew Luck came in with a bunch of hype, which he was living up to it, and then
he got hurt a lot. That was his only problem. He was injury prone, and then he retired early because of it.
Yeah. So there's just I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation, just hype in general. But to answer it, I don't think he's overrated. Would it surprise me if he's not Rookie of the Year? If he has a rough season? No, none of that would surprise me. So, but like, Victor Wembanyama is probably another one that's gonna.
He may. I mean, he's started very hot, so we'll see. Chet Holmgren too. I mean, he was hurt his whole first year. He's also a freak.
Yeah, but that's it. We only had one more thing, and it was what came first, the orange or the color orange.
What?
That was the only other fan topic we have. We have hit on all of these.
Good for them. I don't know who submitted the orange or the color orange.
Our buddies at After the Huddle or After the Whistle, whatever their thing is. Jacob and Jared.
Good for them. I don't know how to answer that. So
I'm gonna assume the orange came first.
I'm gonna say the color orange came first. No, actually,
how? Sway.
I was gonna say actually, the fruit probably came first. Let's be honest. I'm curious how they came up with the color orange. This is an orange, and it's this color, so must be the color orange.
That's all we got. Unless you have anything we managed to touch. I didn't. Shout out to everybody who's sending us stuff because we didn't have to think at all.
Yeah, I don't like thinking.
I know you keep saying you want to get back to the top fives. It's kind of hard when people give us an hour worth of content.
Well, we're gonna come with our own content too. We'll sprinkle in some of these throughout. I want to keep doing this. This is good. But yeah,
that's all I got. Unless you got anything else you
want to close with. I'm just happy to be back, man. I'm happy to record some content, and we'll keep it going. We'll keep it rolling. We accept all feedback, so continue to give it to us. Continue to give us questions. Appreciate y'all. That's it. We'll see you next time. Check out FBR Pod at FBR Pod. It's a wrestling podcast. If you like wrestling, we're both wrestling dudes. Call us nerds, but you're probably just insecure. Follow Be in the Know. A lot of cool stuff coming out there. I know the Pels season just ended. State of the Pels, probably have one more episode, and then we'll call it a season on that. Chrissy has been doing phenomenal with that. She's great. Follow her at Sports Chrissy. What else? Anything else?
Nope. We'll probably be trying to dive into some. We're looking for somebody that wants to come do some Saints stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll broaden that even more. Looking for somebody who wants to come in and do NFL related or football related things.
Yeah, anything football. Even if you want to cover Tulane, come talk Tulane. We don't have to be the guys that cover Tulane.
Yeah, it's a lot for us to cover all of it. And also, like we've said a million times, we don't want to be forced to cover things. Not that we feel forced to cover Tulane. We do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like, if we don't want to 1 week, we'd like to have somebody that wants to do it. So if anybody's interested in just covering college football, NFL football, or just if you have an idea to do something creative, just hit us up.
Yeah. I don't care if you want to talk about like makeup tutorials. That's fine. I'm not into it, but I'm sure somebody out there is. I'll help you.
Do the tutorials?
No, well, you do them. Actually, I volunteer. If you want to talk makeup tutorials, if you want to come on the podcast or start your own podcast talking about makeup tutorials, I will volunteer for your first episode. You can decorate my face however you please.
Somebody please take him up on that.
Whatever you want to do, I'm here.
All right. That's it. Until next time.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
We out.